Let's talk planning. Come on in, welcome to my home. It's that time of year when we all want to start our year off right by planning a lot of things and, well, that can be a problem because we might not be planning correctly. I've done some research into this and I found out where some of my problems came with planning, and maybe my problems will help you avoid those problems. So let's start this off. So, how hard can planning be? One of the major issues with planning is time. Not just necessarily our time, but time in general. We as a species are notorious for underestimating the amount of time that's going to take to do something. A lot of this comes from the fact that we think that we should be able to do something in the amount of time that a professional can do something. You know, somebody who's been doing it for years. And I don't know about you, but if I've been doing something for years, I can probably do it faster than somebody who's never done it before, or somebody who's only been doing it for a short time. And I can probably do it maybe a little bit more accurately, and that presents whole new problems. And then we have the unrealistic expectation of TV and videos. A lot of times you see a TV show where it takes a family one weekend to completely organize their house. But did it? Because sometimes when we do these things, we have one person doing it, unlike a lot of these TV shows that have an entire crew to do this, along with the family. And then we also have our other things that we still have to do. Because most people forget that, life does happen. So what might take somebody maybe a few hours or days to do it with a whole crew of people might take you a lot longer. And I mean a lot longer. And we don't necessarily think about that amount of time that it's going to take. We're going to do this weird thing. One thing that I was noticing during my Christmas time, like all that cooking and baking, that I read a lot of recipes that said it would take 10 minutes to make the thing and then 30 minutes to bake it, and that would only be a 40-minute project. Is that true? Well, let's think about this. Well, first I have to gather up all the supplies and the equipment. So that might be anything from 1 minute to 10 minutes. Then I mix it up, put it into the oven, have to clean up. Well, that cleanup can happen while it's baking. Then I have to take it out and cool it. Oh, wait, cool it? That wasn't in there. And then I have to clean everything up so that, 40-minute project turns into an hour and a half. And that's not accounted for even in the recipe. But the one thing about this is, shouldn't I have known that? But that's saying we're not even counting for delays. Delays happen. Right now, we are expecting a big, huge snowstorm. So some of my projects that I had planned on doing today are being delayed because I need to get ready for the snowstorm, which could strand us here for maybe a day or so. I mean, it's not that big. But it's something that I hadn't planned on. And delays are something that nobody ever accounts for when they make a plan, and it's probably something you should account for. While it might be sunny right now, it might not stay sunny. We might not have the exact optimal conditions to make whatever it is that we're doing or whatever we're doing. We think that we can do it in a certain amount of time, and we can't. This is called planning fallacy, where we believe that everything's going to work out in this perfect world, and everything is going to be great and wonderful. We're going to have no problems, and we can do it all. But can we? I mean, are we going to have interruptions? Maybe it's not even interruptions. Maybe it's something like, we believe that this time it's going to work out a little bit differently than it did the last time, and everything is going to go smoothly because, it's different this time. There's a name for it. That's optimism bias. That's where we think everything is going to be great this time. It'll be great. It'll work out perfectly because, there were other factors the last time. So I don't have to worry about that now. Well, you sort of do. It would be great if everything did work out perfectly every time, but that's not always the case. And when planning something, you need to think about that. What I like to do when I'm planning something is I like to think about how did this thing that I'm doing, how is it related to something else that I've done? And probably it is sort of like something else that I've done. So then in that case, I can get a general idea. Then I also think about the time that I did that. Were the conditions perfect for that time? No interruptions, I had all the equipment right there, that sort of thing. Or were the conditions like not prime and I had all sorts of problems going on? So that way I have some sort of idea where to go from there. But what do I do with that? Well, I take that and I say, okay, under the perfect circumstance, this is the amount of time that it could take. All right, perfect. But then I also say, worst case scenario, this is the amount of time that I think that it's going to take. And usually with worst case scenario, I put in about 20 to 30% more time than what I allotted for perfect case scenario. So that way I don't have to worry about things, and that's what I plan with. I plan with worst case scenario because there's nothing easier than to sit back, have your project all done, versus not having your project done at all and being like, oh no, I have to have this project done in just a few seconds and I'm nowhere close. Now, part of this, being able to figure out how long it took me to do something, comes from the fact that I like to keep a journal. In my journal, I keep a log of how long it took me to do a project, that sort of thing, so that way when I am planning, I can go back and reference that. It's really handy. I didn't think it would come out as handy as it does. That's why journaling can be really important, and you don't have to journal like massively huge. If you're curious about journaling, check out that card. It will take you to my journaling video. But journaling can help you a lot with figuring out things and making good plans. Another thing that will help you with making good plans: what exactly are you doing? What exactly is your goal? Do you even have a goal? Because finding the goal of what you want, and we're going to talk about a project, I'll do the step by step a little bit later, but once you know what you're doing, then you can also figure out why you're doing it. Knowing the what and the why can help you with a lot of things, including motivation or seeing where you can cut some steps out. It can help you just keep going because that's part of it. Keeping going can be one of the hardest things that you're going to have to do. So what I like to do is I like to break down my big goal or my big project into mini projects, little steps that I can take along the way and plan those when I want those things to happen or when I need them to have happened. That's the important part. So if I know where my final goal needs to be, I can divide it down into steps and then I can figure out where each steps need to be. So that way when I'm planning things, I have little bite-sized pieces I can take off, which is really important. Now me, I like to gather my resources way before I start a project, like way before I start a project. You can gather it by each step so that before you start a step, you have all your resources, meaning your materials and the equipment that you need to do that process all together. So that way you're not scrambling to get things done at the last minute, because nothing's worse than you're getting ready to do something and then you have to find another piece of equipment to do the job that it is that you're going to do. Let's talk about something that's really important, and that is, where are you going to do your project? I know a few people who are like, I'm going to start this big, huge project, and wait, I have no place to do it. How easy is that to run into that issue? If you have no place to do that project, I'm not sure if you can actually do that project. Or if you know that project's going to take you several days to do, and you're going to be shutting down a certain area, that can be an issue, especially if you're like ripping out the kitchen and it's Thanksgiving weekend. Someone's not going to be real happy about that. I highly don't recommend that. So looking at your schedule in a realistic kind of way, which means that you're going to have to plan. This is a big, huge circle where planning can lead to planning, but planning can also lead to many happy, wonderful things. Another problem that people have with planning is overconfidence. I can do anything if I put my mind to it. Guess what? I can't. I'm not a plumber. No. I can do basic electrical work, but anything more than basic, I can't do that. So I know that there are some things that I do need to hire out. And it's okay to not do all parts of the project yourself, or you don't even have to do the entire project yourself. As long as you know this going into it, you are not deluding yourself with the idea that, yep, I can do it all, I can do everything. I can watch a few videos and then learn, which is a fine thing to do as long as you plan for that. As long as you fit that into your whole goal, and I would then add a lot of extra time so that way you can go and learn while you're doing it, whatever it is that you're doing. Because that way you can take it easy. You don't have to rush, because rushing something can make that plan go really, really bad. I mean, like, really bad. I've done that, and there's worse. I mean, like, the whole snowflake ornaments I had planned, it never came to fruition because I never got the stuff that I needed in time, and then by the time I did get everything that I needed, it was too late because there were other factors to be factored into it. Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, I didn't plan for it enough because I should have ordered everything way beforehand, so now I have several pounds of baking soda sitting in my closet waiting for next year when I will do the baking soda ornaments. I'm ready for next year though, that's a good thing. But I should have planned way far ahead. Can we talk about one of the things that really helps with planning, and that is writing it down? I'm not even saying you have to write it down with your pencil and paper. You can, that's really great. I personally have a tablet with everything written, even the script is written on the tablet. And you know why I have that? Because there have been times when I have forgotten why I walked into a room. Yeah, I've done that. I'm getting older. I've found that if I write down my plans and then I break down those plans into steps and I write down those steps and I put those steps onto a calendar, guess what? It's so easy. I have a whole map to follow. It is a roadmap that gets me to get to my great final goal. And that's what we want to get to. We want to get to our final goal the easiest way possible. And one of the easiest ways possible is to have this roadmap with plans and extra time and moments for planning for breaks and that sort of thing, so that way it is easy. Now, a lot of you are probably saying that I'm a giant nerd for planning, and that's fine. You can think that, that's great. But as I sit back and relax and enjoy whatever process that I'm going through, I really don't care if you think I'm a nerd or not. I don't know where this whole thing about people who plan things so far in advance, they're just wasting their time. Well, no, they're making their life easy so that way, when it comes time for the project, they don't have to rush around. They actually get the chance to buy things on sale. Do you know what that's like to buy something on sale? It is wonderful. When you're not spending full price for a project, that is the greatest thing. And if you plan your projects way far in advance, you can then look for the items that you need in a grand master list that you've written down and see when they go on sale. And I think you're really going to enjoy that. All right, so let's talk about where this thing can I can show you more about how this works. So we are going to talk about Christmas. I know, it's a really far, long time away, but I need to plan for that now because Christmas is a pretty big event for decorating around here. So here's what I know. I know for a fact that my Christmas video will come out on November 28th. I do believe. Let me check my dates here. Yes, November 28th, which means that the video itself needs to be finished by November 14th so that my patrons and my channel members can get that video 2 weeks beforehand, which means that I need to have everything ready to go for that video by the 7th of November. So that way on the 14th, I'm just finishing this up. So most likely I would then be decorating between the 7th and the 13th. Probably more like the 7th and the 10th. and then do this part, the talking heads part, so that way I can have that all ready to go. And then edit it on the 14th, upload it, and send it to you. But there are lots of other steps in this, which means that I've got to do things like, I know I'm going to get new garland. So that garland needs to be ready to go. That's going to be its own separate video. I'm going to be doing Christmas ornaments in that. So that's its own step. That's going to be its own separate video. So that needs to be ready to go. Then I have to look at all of these things as in, here are the steps I'm taking, here are the little pieces that I need to have, which means I need to have an overall plan. And that overall plan needs to be done super, super early. In fact, I know this is probably going to freak you out, but I am going to finish up what my Christmas decorations are going to look like, the plan that is, by the end of January. Yep. That's right. By the end of January, I will have the whole thing drawn out for what I want my Christmas decorations to go, and then I will have each one of those little pieces that I need to have in place, ready to go, in place and ready to go, which means that each thing needs to be done by, yes, you guessed it, the 7th of November. So, I mean, I can't be like, okay, on the 6th, I'll get my pine garland, and no, because it's got to be done on the 7th of November. So I have to go and say, nope, on the 1st of November, I need to have that pine garland done. I know that I need to have those Christmas decorations done in October. Realistically, and I know this is going to be painful for a lot of you, I'll probably be working on Christmas all year round this year, simply because, well, it takes a lot to do a big event like that. And this year I want to do something a lot bigger. I have a bigger theme planned. I'm planning on making a whole lot of other decorations, and I'm doing a whole lot of other things, but I planned this out way far in advance, because one of the things that I really want to do this year is spread Christmas joy throughout the year. No, I do not mean bombarding you with Christmas all the time. More like spreading good cheer and goodwill towards men, that sort of thing, at that time. So you're going to see more of that on this channel this year, simply because it's something that I want to do. I want us to come to this channel, see M. Coleman home, and feel like I feel good. I have goodwill. This makes me happy. This makes me smile. Here are things that I can do. Here are things I didn't even know about. Here are ways that I can take care of myself, because that's also part of goodwill. If you're in a good mood, you're probably going to spread that good mood to other people. So you're going to see things like book reviews. You know, I read a lot. I don't know if you know that, but I read a lot, so you'll probably be seeing those. You're going to be seeing things that you can do for yourself, for other people, or projects like the one that I should have done to begin with. I've done this video before where I made mead, but I want to do the mead video again, more as in a series of videos, so that you can make it along with me and have your mead ready for Christmas. And that will be something fun. We can do that together. I'm also doing this really cool thing where I'm going to be making cinnamon whiskey. Well, I'm not making cinnamon whiskey, I'm infusing cinnamon into whiskey. But I didn't do these things in time because I didn't plan them. Right now, the mead is bubbling away. Do I think it'll be done? No, because if you're wondering what's happening is, this is actually being filmed on the 19th of December. So Christmas hasn't happened, and realistically, the mead was supposed to be for Christmas presents. Probably not going to happen. So now I have to get a backup Christmas present on the 19th. Yikes, bad planning on my part, and that's why this video came about, because I want to take this and really plan our whole entire season, and the only way to do that is to do it in little steps. So you'll be seeing other planning videos, but not like this, not where I tell you how I plan. It's going to be more like, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm breaking down, this is what you can see coming up. Now, if you are part of the Patreon or part of the channel members, you get weekly videos where I tell you what's going on behind the scenes, so you already probably know all this stuff. They are the ones who help keep this channel going, keep me in check, and remind me of things that I should have done, because I forget, unless I put it down on my calendar, which I'm going to be much better at doing this year. Hopefully you will be too. I can forget those sort of things, but being a channel member really does give me the ability to do those sort of things, Patreon channel member, that membership then just really helps so we can do bigger projects. We can do things like get new pine garland because my garland is on its last leg. We can talk about Christmas lights. We can talk about some of those projects that I really have coming up, and it'll be a lot of fun. If you're interested in joining, check out those links which are listed down below. It is a really fun way that we can talk, communicate, decide what things are coming up, and that sort of thing. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you tell me how you plan. Let me know down in the comments, and I hope I get to see you again the next time you stop by.